Today, I want to talk through a custom build project that we put together, and it kind of follows on nicely from what we were talking about yesterday about frame stiffness and flex and compliance, because this kind of epitomizes some of the decisions that we make here when we're putting together custom builds. So this is a Tifosi SS26. In all honesty, it's probably an open mold something, but rather than buying from Velo Build or whatever, this is actually imported, and the brand name given to it is from a brand in the UK called Chicken Cycle Kit. So we sort of have a level of accountability to go back to. And I know the guys at Chicken Cycle Kit, and they always check their frames, and when frames come from them, they're normally very well finished. The bottom bracket was round, the brake mounts were faced, and it's fine. I'm pretty happy with the quality of it, but it is really, really stiff. And I think it's because to try and get the durability out of the frame, they've had to add materials. And so compared to the frame I showed you yesterday, which is my cross bike frame, which is designed to be a little bit flexible because you kind of want that grip and compliance when you're riding off-road. This is actually incredibly stiff, and pushing power through the pedals, there really isn't much compliance in there at all. And the rider of this bike, this is their first road bike. They've taken on the Fred Whitton Challenge. It's their first really big endurance ride. They trained really hard for it, but they wanted to put a bike together, but we had a really definitive budget. So what we tried to do first of all was try and get some compliance and some confident handling back in through the wheel. So we've chosen the Pensetti Pico 46. And the reason I like this wheel set is, remember, the Fred Whitton Challenge is a really steep climbing and descending challenge, and the roads are really poor quality. You can be descending very steep, eyes on a stalk if you like, and all of a sudden there can be very, very deep potholes and bumps in the road. So having the confidence put back into your bike through the wheel set, we think is really important. And these are actually a 24mm internal, which is really, really, really wide, and they're hookless as well. Now, you can go either way with how you feel about hookless and hooked, but for this sort of application, I think it really works because when you're running a fairly low pressure, remember this is a fairly light rider as well, and you hit a big pothole at speed, knowing that you've got that hookless thing, I think works really, really well. We can wrap these up in a set of Pirelli in 28C wide, run them at relatively low pressures because, again, a nice light rider, build all that compliance back in. We even just took about a quarter of the turn off each of the spokes as well, just to take some of the spoke tensions down. And it made the whole thing a whole lot more comfortable and much more confidence inspiring, which is what a build should all be about. And then at the front as well, because relatively new to road biking, and a confidence thing was to have a slightly higher handlebar than probably ideal for the bike fit, but you know, that's okay. The downsides of that is you end up with quite a short stem, so your body weight comes back off the front axle a little bit. So to help compensate, we've gone for a slightly wider handlebar than you perhaps would biomechanically to try and put that confident handling back in after you pulled some of the weight off the front of the bike as well. So lots and lots of little intricate details in there. And then to help with the compliance here, because this seat post has got nothing in it, is to use the Pro Logo saddle, which has got loads of flex in the wings here. It's a really good, comfortable saddle and builds that compliance back in. So whenever we're doing a bike build, it's not just a case of pulling together exotic parts. It's trying to think about, you know, what the chassis is that you're working with to start with, and how you're going to try and get the ride characteristics that's, you know, the rider wants through the rest of the componentry. And I think this is quite a good example of what you can do by going to speak to your bike shop, giving them your budget, giving them what's in your mind that you want from a bike, and hopefully you'll get the bike that you want. Okay, I hope you found that video useful. If you did, put those comments down below. And also, what do you think of our choices? We're always open to criticism and new ideas. If you've got something that we should have put on there instead, again, put it in the comments. We are all ears. Until next time, take it easy.